And we are back with WCS EU Challenger, joined here by my good friend Coltarin, also known as Kellen MacPhail. But there's not an ounce of fail.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
We've casted together before. A
Yeah.
lot of
TESPA Collegiate Series,
stuff, so.
fun times. Now we now here casting hopefully some some more closer matches than those TESPA.
Some of those were.
Some of them were a little brutal.
Yeah, if you think NA StarCraft is crazy, check out the collegiate StarCraft. It is insane.
Yeah.
But we have a great matchup here between GunGFuBanDa and my boy Elazer. This should be a good one.
Yeah, it should be really fantastic. I got to see a lot of GunGFuBanDa at WCS Summer, casting a lot of his games there. He has been playing out of his mind. Whenever he's on and playing consistently, he's, I think, one of the top Protoss in EU for sure. The problem is, like we saw in that first series, the inconsistency with map movement has really been the thing that I've seen bring his downfall. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out here against Elazer.
Very interesting. That might be a thing that he needs to work on. But yeah, indeed, he puts himself in great positions very often. He's a very underrated player, I think, GunGFuBanDa, and he could absolutely defeat Elazer. So we'll see what happens. Elazer not looking in top form there. Some of those neurals were a little bit sketch.
Yeah, a little questionable,
like,
right? Yeah.
It's like you got broodlords coming, but you're knurling tanks. It's like,
it's a weird kind of priority of where you're spending that energy, right? And it's going to be so important against somebody like GunGfu, who's been going to these, had those later games in the first series already in the same matchup. It's I'm a little worried to see how that transition is going to be going for him in this one.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
it should be a good one. I expect Acropolis. So we've already seen, like you said, GunGFuBanDa, how he likes to open here. Acropolis didn't go so well for him against Raynor. So we'll see if he decides to mix it up, as Elazer surely has been watching.
Right. Yeah. A lot of games to learn from here at the start, and played pretty true to his style. So let's see if he does mix it up against Elazer.
All right. And spawning at the bottom right-hand side of the map, the red Zerg Elazer. Very powerful.
Powerful indeed. Facing off against his blue Protoss opponent up in the top left-hand side, it is GunGFuBanDa.
Love it. So we'll see if anyone deviates from the norm. I would say they're mostly pretty standard players as far as openers are concerned. We're not going to see any Blight type shenanigans. So GunGFuBanDa not choosing to scout right away after the pylon, and indeed, actually he's already at the
He got the hatch block, so very nice with that pylon scout, and just won't be able to block that base, but not a huge deal for GunGfu. A nice little start.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. That was a very early probe to be sent out, and he doesn't want to chase that drone because otherwise a second drone could come into the natural, so he recognizes that. Now he's got to assume that there's a third on the way, and now what does become a little bit of an issue for Elazer is the likes of Adepts. We're going to see him take a gas followed by a pull so that he gets speed, and once he has that speed, that's the no-go for Adepts, no mo.
Yeah, well put. As the creep spread, like you said, going to be the thing that will allow a lot of opportunities for GunGfu with those Adepts, trying to abuse the lack of connection. Obviously, how long it takes the drones to transfer as well, another very important thing. Saw that come into play with those oracles in the first series today. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what GunGfu is going to do with this little bit of an early. I guess it is an advantage, right? Like, it's not a huge deal, but it is a slight win for him.
Yeah, it is important. A lot of Zergs try to get the hatchery at 16. We've even seen 15 hatcheries just to avoid this from happening, because it's not just that the pressure gets a little bit more difficult to defend. It's also that the transfer of the drones is going to hurt you a lot, right? Because you're losing money by moving those drones further.
Yeah, so much time lost on moving them just before they even start bringing you value, as, we see them running uselessly by this probe doing donuts in the natural base. And with that speed on the way, pulled 2 out of gas, that's the next kind of telling point for what Elazer is going to be going for here. Won't have super fast access to that next tech, as we see the tech from GunGfu, going to be that Stargate opener. He's going to have himself in a really great position to apply a lot of harassment to these spread out bases.
Exactly, and we'll see what this first Adept is able to accomplish. If anything, the Lynx are going to be a little bit hesitant to move out. And look at GunGFuBanDa with a very heads-up play, looking for that circling. He's not going to find it, but the effort is pretty good here. I mean, a couple seconds earlier, he would have seen and stopped that Link from scouting. So well done by both players there.
Yeah, great awareness as the Adept comes into the natural base, confirms what he should have already known.
We'll probably shade onto the third.
Yeah, it's a Queen. Shroon doing what he can. A couple Zerglings are here. Ooh, it's first one.
Yeah, and actually shades into safety, and that's pretty good too. So
Yeah.
gets a drone for free. The Adept takes no real damage, and is just gonna walk back home. So things looking all right for GunGFuBanDa, and a nice little start here.
Yeah, nice little start with that Phoenix coming out. Going to be able to start denying this scouting information for Elazer, that Overlord. And then, of course, once he adds on more of these gateway units, going to be able to chase away any stray Zerglings and be really comfortable right now, right? There's nothing crazy coming out from Elazer either, just getting what he wants, getting his economy going. Really curious to see what these Oracles will probably be able to get done. Imagining there'll be a couple of them coming out.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to move out on the map with the first one, but a lot of the time you want to pull it back and just use it for defense against Link Floods, if that's a possibility for Elazer, who is already dropping very early Spore Crawlers preparing for this Oracles.
Yeah, and second Stargate on the way, so looking for that double Stargate Phoenix play, look to bank up those Phoenixes, get quite a bit of harassment, and it can be so hard to deal with from the position of the Zerg, especially as the Spire gets later and later, you know, not having much access to the anti-air. Could prove disastrous here for Elazer as that Oracle's making its way across.
Yeah, one thing that we touched on and he has been able to do is connect the bases with creep very well. We'll move that Queen up so that the Oracle kills a couple of drones, but nothing too huge here. Elazer going up to 5 Queens, so that's a pretty good setup, 3 Spores and 5 Queens. It's likely that if GunGFuBanDa wants to capitalize on this and make a lot of Oracles, he's going to have to kind of just save them and hide them for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely going to have to be very cautious with them as Phoenix is able to get that Overlord. That's very nice.
Indeed.
And yeah, and behind this, it's the Lair on the way, the Roach Warren coming up for Elazer. You know, going to have a decent ground force, but still no answer to these Phoenixes, right? And of course doesn't know about them yet as the third base is on the way. And these Adepts, constant with the pressure in the center of the map.
Yeah, and he's going for Phoenixes over Oracles. This is a little bit trickier from the Protoss perspective because you want to kill drones as early as possible, right? That's when you get the most value out of the kills on drones, because otherwise they'll continue to pay for themselves and exceed that. But at the same time, you don't want to reveal your double Stargate too early. So it's a balancing act that the Protoss players have to go with in order to properly execute this. I imagine he'll be moving out with 6 to 8 Phoenix or something like that.
Yeah, finishing him up here and adding on double Robo behind this. Sees the Roach Warren, very intelligent play there. Knows that as long as he'll be able to keep up constant Immortal production once these finishes, he should be able to stay alive. These Phoenixes should be able to buy him enough time as those second and third extractors finish up for Elazer. He is ramping up for just a ton of Roaches going to be coming in the production tab very soon here as he sits right around that 60 worker mark. These Phoenixes looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, and Elazer identifying that this is double Stargate Phoenix just by the sheer number of Phoenix that are out right now, and it will drop extra Spores in every base. At the same time going for the counter-attack with the Lynx. The Oracle a little bit out of position, should have probably just been sitting at that third, but the Lynx will get nothing but a pylon here.
And do get repelled, and Phoenixes haven't really been able to do too much yet, right? Was able to get an Overlord there in the main base, but even lost the Phoenix for it. That double Immortal production now starting up as the Hydro Stens on the way for Elazer, which in theory will allow him to respond to these Phoenixes more directly, but gonna have to get to that critical mass first, right? These Phoenixes do such a great job of picking off stray units, picking off the reinforcements as they're getting rallied.
Yeah, but they really haven't been able to find too much. These are very expensive units. What they have done, however, is force a lot of static defense out of Elazer. And he's going also for Hydra. So what I would have liked is for GunGFuBanDa to anticipate this and maybe drop a Robotics Bay and go for something like Colossi or Disruptors in the back of this.
Yeah, definitely would have been very sick. I think he actually has 2 Hydralisk Stens.
Ooh.
Yeah, does have 2 Hydralisk Stens.
Does indeed.
As more Immortals keep getting added on here. That Twilight Council only just now coming up means these Gateway units aren't going to have really as much of an impact as you might be wanting. As this Ground Army starts to get scarier and scarier for Elazer, right? 12 more Hydras getting added on. Once they have speed and range, I mean, what do we have on the ground for GunGfu? It's not looking super scary, but those pickups can really turn the tide of this fight.
Yeah, GunGFuBanDa is going to be moving out onto the map, and this could be a blessing in disguise because it will give him a heads up of what Elazer is doing. But he has to be very, very careful because Elazer has been producing non-stop units and was preparing for an attack off of that, a very timing-based attack off of those upgrades, right? Otherwise, the Hydra then is a complete waste. So Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, Biles coming out, just trying to zone this out as the Shades see everything there is to see. And
there's a lot to see.
Yeah, GunGFu going to see that very wisely. Turn the other direction. Does not want to go sell his goods there.
Yeah, and this is an ideal scenario for GunGFu, minus the fact that he has invested into so many different tech paths in this game, and now he's decided to go for Templars or Storm, most likely, to answer these Hydras. I'm not sure that he will have the time for this, especially with Elazer posturing to be as aggressive as he is. But as we say that Elazer's rounding up his 4th, and will not take advantage of the second Hydra then, essentially.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Yeah, I'm curious if GunGFu is just gonna continue to sit back here, and if he's gonna have that time, like you were saying. I mean, Elazer moving forward. That Storm's still so far away.
Very far away. And you know, you have double row production. I mean, that's such a big investment. He's continuing to make immortals off of it, and that's something a very nice run by with the Adepts here.
Yeah, this is so nice. Denying all the mining at this base, and the Adepts almost able to get themselves into the choke. You'll be able to trade out so nicely.
Very well done by GunGFuBanDa. We'll even find more drones if he fires. There we go. Just a couple more.
We'll get a few, and also going to draw that army of Elazer back, moving back through the center of the map now. More Zealots in the main base as well.
Yeah, he's been really good with these. In both games, he has been so good at finding the space to just have Zealots attacking at multiple bases. And he's doing a very good job of spreading his army at opposite ends of the map, so that it's more difficult to deal with a single clump of army. Of course, Elazer, a world-class player, will have units here and there to defend.
Absolutely, and his creep spread very nice in terms of connecting the base. Doesn't quite have that mid-map reach that you know, you might be wanting at this stage. GunGFu been fairly active out on the map, and especially with those Phoenixes throughout the game. Been a little bit harder for Elazer to get that set up, as the army getting a little caught here.
Yeah, and there's GunGFu is playing this like a Zerg, right? He's switching tech so often and so much that I'm not sure that his army is as strong as it could be right now, right? Had he not been doing all these things. So Elazer will push him back. Very wise of him. This is a difficult decision to make because he's fighting off of creep, but he's taking a fight in the open space as well. And that's very important for him to mitigate the damage from any potential storms. Yeah,
and this is very nice chain of events here for Elazer, forcing out that Sentry energy, forcing out that High Templar energy as well. You know, limited resources for GunGFu's army, and so much of his power is reliant on that. As Adrenal Glands getting started up, as this drop moves in, let's see what the Phoenixes will be able to get done in conjunction with this.
Yeah, this is really nice with the Phoenix Escort here. So it basically says if you don't have enough units, I can do a lot. But at the same time, Elazer is going to push onto the 4th of GunGFuBanDa very smartly as well, recognizing that GunGFuBanDa is using this space to expand. So now both players kind of putting each other in check. And we'll see. We're very good storms here and there.
Storms blanketing the field here, and a great one right there, sitting on those Hydras. But the last High Templar goes down. The Archon getting morphed in to try and save their lives, but that's not going to do much. So these Hydras push forward, looking for those expensive Immortals in the back. They are on the run, and will barely be able to stay alive. But this Nexus in some serious trouble.
Yeah, and on the other side of the map, the aggression was shut down by Elazer, as GunGFuBanDa was forced to recall or pull back, I'm not sure. And he will, Elazer will get us around. This might just be it.
Yeah, getting on top of these Immortals, so expensive. Great pickup micro here in conjunction with that shield battery, doing its best to keep them alive. As Zergling reinforcements show up here, the Phoenix having energy, but not really going to be able to do too much against this many Hydras. Elazer going to strike first.
Yeah, an impressive game by Elazer. I really don't like how much GunGFuBanDa, I feel like he spread himself really thin that game, right?
Absolutely.
Like double Stargate, and then you make a few Phoenix, and then double Robo. The Phoenix didn't pay off. The double Robo, arguably, did he make 4 Immortals out of double Robo or something like that?
I think he at one point had made like 8 to 10 total, but just losing them, or and then sticking with them even whenever the composition didn't really work, and not getting the robotics bay, like you said. A lot of weird decisions there in terms of where he was investing his money. I'm not even sure if we saw any like Forge upgrades or anything come in from that. The Twilight very late as well. I feel it's just GunGFu had a lot of tools, but the tools weren't all sharpened, right? He he had a lot, like a dull hatchet, a dull hammer, and ended up hitting himself in the head with it as Elazer taking that game number 1 in a pretty easy fashion, right? I mean,
he never felt threatened, right? He always had too much.
Exactly.
Because there was so much investment into the tech and into the buildings that he just didn't have enough units.
Yeah, not enough.
That is.
Yeah, GunGFu just not having enough units. You know, the storms being able to get force baited out in the center of the map for really no loss by Elazer. Following that up, I mean, great pressure by Elazer as GunGFu is feeling ready for this next match on New Repugnancy. I'm a little worried for him after that first map. You know, he was in control. He was dictating the pace of the game, and Elazer just rolled with it, made plenty of drones, and was absolutely gluttonous. You know, had plenty of economy. Yeah, I'm liking Elazer so far in this series. He's playing very well.
Yeah, it feels difficult for GunGFu after that game. Let's see if he can flip it around and kind of commit a little bit harder to one or the other tech, or at least not divest into all of them.
Right. You know, I think there's a lot of power in just being decisive with your tech choices, even if it's not optimal or not what might necessarily work out the best. If you commit, you know, if he had taken that next fight with, you know, 4 or 5 Colossus instead of having those storms, you know, I think we'd be looking at a much different game because we've had so much sooner, had so much better constant production available. And yeah, now let's see what we'll be able to pull out here in game number 2 on New Repugnancy.
It should be pretty good. And we're now in the game and spawning at the bottom right-hand side, bottom left-hand side of the map. It is GunGFuBanDa.
Keeping the observer on their toes as we start up here on the top right-hand side. It is Elazer. Nicolaj. What was that Estrella?
Max Angel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got one of the best names. Yeah.
So many good names in StarCraft.
Indeed.
And then I'm stuck here with McPhail.
Well, at least your name can be pronounced by most people.
That is true. As, Probe able to get that block. Another nice little start here for GunGFu.
Yet again, let's see if he's able to capitalize on this. I mean, one thing that you could do off of this is do something like a double depth pressure, maybe add a second gateway once realizing that the hatchery will be blocked.
Yeah, and I don't understand why a lot of higher level Protosses are so afraid of doing that. Oh, that's annoying as well, blocking the extractor. You know, are so afraid of adding on that second adept sooner. You know, I don't feel like it's that much of a significant delay, and you can get so much extra, you know, being able to one-shot the drones. I feel like brings so much added value, but we don't really see it hardly at all, right? I mean, even in these situations where it'd be ideal for it.
Yeah, I suppose they expect the Circs to be able to deal with them well enough, and then if they don't do enough, then that's a heavy investment, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of playing it safe, I suppose, but
absolutely.
I mean, GunGFu will take his small lead here and do what he can with it. The first adept will probably still move out and see if he can find another drone. That would be a good start for him.
Yeah, keeping eyes on things over here. So Elazer just gonna be staying pretty honest so far, right? Just keeping his 3 on gas until he gets that speed. Really, that'll be the next time we'll be able to get a feel for what Elazer is wanting to do in this game number 2. Because, I mean, Elazer should be feeling very, very confident after that first map.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I would like to see, it's exactly not this. Transferring the drones after the speed, like, yes, like he's basically prioritizing minerals, but the way that he's prioritizing minerals right now costs so much more than normal because his third is so much further away. So, you know, when things like this happen, maybe you can keep the drones a little bit further or a little bit later on the gas. Then again, it's not a huge deal either way.
Yeah, I guess you would get earlier access to those next tech. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I am curious as to what the decision making is for that, as the adept will make its way to deny that scout. Robo facility, of course, the opener here for GunGFu is that Overlord not making the mistake of his. Oh, well, actually, is still on fake high ground.
Yeah, not for long. Elazer has to pay attention to him, though.
Not again.
Oh, please.
Not again.
No! Well, that is a...
Wow.
That's Among Us.
I haven't seen that happen twice in pro games in a long time.
Yeah, it's a rare thing because you have Kerrigan yelling at you, being like, "Hey, your forces, you know."
Like,
it's
dude,
very difficult
up.
to ignore her. Yeah.
Move him like 2 feet, dude. But
yeah, if you have the Alaric announcer, he's a little bit too mild with some of those warnings. He's like, "Nuclear launch detected." I'm like, dude, can you put a little bit more urgency to that? Because it's just, you know, but
big deal.
Yeah.
Speaking of big deals, Warp Prism just now coming out. So that's going to be, I imagine, going to be used to apply a bit of pressure as the Immortal production starts up on the backside of it. very standard, you know, Soul Train-esque build that has been coming out from Protoss a lot recently.
Yeah, and I like this. I mean, mixing it up. He's gonna add a starport.
Ooh. Okay.
All right, the tech switches are coming in.
Interesting. I've never seen a Protoss play like this. We're
Very,
trying to
very,
switch it up.
yeah.
It's so Zerg-esque, like you were saying.
It really is. I mean, there's been a couple of Protoss that play somewhat like this, but I've never seen a Robo into a double starport switch like this. Like, the Robo's such a commitment, again, like I said, so it's like he's divesting so much into this techs on just 2 ways. It seems a little bit dangerous. We'll see what he opts to do. I would like to see Oracles here, not Phoenixes again.
Yeah, I completely agree. Let's see what he'll pull out as they do finish up. Layer on the way for Elazer on the other side. And in the meantime, just going to be finishing droning up his third, getting on the Roach Warren, got all the Zerg tools that he needs. And it is going to be Phoenix. Okay, so let's see if GunGFu will be able to be more active with it, right? You know, be able to inflict some more lasting damage onto the economy this time. But I mean, we saw last time, Elazer's just done such a good job of being aware of where the Phoenixes were, having you know, Spore Callers or Queens in position, not letting any of them be isolated.
Yeah, one thing going for GunGFu this time is the surprise factor, right? This is going to be as bizarre to Elazer as it is to us, I think so. We'll see if he's able to react to those Phoenixes or if those Phoenixes are just going to do whatever they want, but they're also limited by energy, and this is why I like the Oracles better. If you surprise someone with Oracles, then you just kill them.
Right.
You surprise someone with Phoenixes, you're limited in terms of what you can do. Sure, you can get a lot of value off of them, and they can be very good, but they're not going to kill your opponent.
Right. And, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, Elazer's just going to remake the drones or remake another hatchery and know that, you know, there's not much the Phoenix to be able to do. Once that energy runs out, like you were saying, just not going to have much of a value proposition anymore. And 4 more gateways getting added on the backside of these continued Phoenix production, now going up to 6, soon to be 8. And it will be a very powerful push available to GunGFu, and Elazer on the other side really just going to have roaches for the time being. So could still have a window here, despite how weird all of this is looking.
Yeah. I wonder what he's going to do with these Phoenixes. You almost want him to fight the army, and he's still going for a third after adding so much production. So, yeah, GunGFu's playing a strange game. Not bad by any means. Again, this is a wonderful player, so I'm sure he has something planned here. But
absolutely. Well, that is
Phoenixes,
huge.
Yeah.
That is a huge spot for Elazer. Seeing all those Phoenixes showing, knows immediately that that is a double Stargate worth of production. Spore Caller going down.
Oh, but this is great. This is great for
huge catch.
Yeah, these units are so expensive, the Ravager. They're 200 resources each. They cost as much as a Mutalisk. So there is no better target for Phoenixes than the Ravagers who can't fight back.
So nice right now. More Warpins coming in on the other side. There's force fields available. I mean, this is just unbreakable for Elazer right now.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the best case scenario for GunGFuBanDa, as he just added 8 gateways worth of production. So it ends up working for him that the Phoenix got spotted when they did, because Elazer feels like he has to do something to keep him at bay. Or apply pressure, because it's like, hey, you just went double Stargate, like how much can you have, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, actually, I made 8 gateways, so a lot.
Man, yeah, great move so far by GunGFu as these Lings trying to snipe some of these reinforcements, you know, trying to pull this army back, maybe look for some damage inflicted, sees that there's no third Nexus.
And there shouldn't be. I would really like for GunGFu to try to capitalize here, do something. I mean, the Phoenixes still have a lot of energy. He's just going to go for the economic advantage, but Elazer is ahead in that regard, and GunGFu doesn't have a third. So I would really like to see him just push, use these Phoenixes offensively, pick up whatever units they can in the fight.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially after picking up so many Ravagers on the other side. You know that he's going to have to reinvest that money to remake those units. But these Zerglings alone from Elazer have bought so much time, right? I mean, GunGFu now isn't really going to want to push until that third base is finished. And in the meantime, Elazer's going to get redroned up. He might even be able to start securing a 4th base, you know, sometime in the near future.
Yeah, and look at the amount of investment here from Elazer to deal with these Phoenixes. So many Queens, so many Spores, and he's making drones. Like, if GunGFuBanDa, he's taking huge risks here to come back into this game, and if GunGFuBanDa had just decided to push out, this is all on screen that Elazer has.
Yeah, no, like if he had moved out, instead of turning back to deal with those Zerglings and it just warped in a few units instead,
he's
this
doing
game,
it now.
Yeah, now moving out.
This might still do it.
Yeah, it's still going to be such a tough fight for Elazer, and GunGFu has so much here, 97 to 75 that supplies. The Bions start to come through.
Yeah, I would almost like for him to just pick up all the Ravagers, go, force field the rest of the army, you know, take them out of the fight. You're not going to kill them with the Phoenixes, but you can at least prevent more Biles and just make yourself a nice little room there.
Yeah, great force fields to start this fight off. The Biles start to come into on that back line, but so much of this Zerg force is not really able to contribute at the highest level. The Biles trying to break through these force fields, but it's just losing so much on the front lines. Army supply getting closer, but now down below 70 for Elazer. As those Banelings with no typical hooks just having...
They get connections, though.
Actually getting connections. I was about to say not having much of an impact, but...
And here's what I wanted to see from the Phoenixes, and this is going to allow GunGFuBanDa to push in further. He's running out of force fields, but he still has a lot, and I think this might be too much for Elazer.
Yeah, backing off. Elazer, we're going to have one final hold if he wants much of a chance to push this off. More reinforcements on the way, and GunGFuBanDa going to force a game number 3.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of a perfect storm for GunGFuBanDa.
Absolutely.
He goes for the really weird switch, gets spotted at a time where it seems like it's so bad to get spotted because your opponent's gonna start getting ready earlier than you would have liked. The surprise factor is so important when you're doing that. But Elazer pushes into the attack that GunGFuBanDa was preparing, and that's the best thing that can happen in StarCraft, right? Like you're going all in-y, your opponent's going more all in, and they're pushing into you. Well,
it's perfect. It's exactly what you want. And, you know, being able to pick off so many of those expensive Ravagers and making it just so expensive to be able to, fight that, right? When the layer being as late as it was as well meant that he didn't have any early Hydra or anything, was relying solely on those Roaches. Yeah, really weird but effective, right, from GunGFu. I'm curious to see if he's going to continue to pull out these kind of wacky builds, right?
I mean, I like watching.
It's great. No, it's fantastic. And Elazer has to be scratching his head too. Like, where did the Phoenixes come from, man? Like, what are you doing?
Absolutely. I think that Elazer should have probably looked at the third more than anything and been like, okay, like maybe I'm okay in economy. Maybe I don't need to push. But I can't fault him for pushing either. After seeing that many Phoenixes, you can't imagine your opponent has that much on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
unless they added 8 gateways.
And then boom, there it is. And yeah, no, it's a great time. It's a great day to be here for WCS Challengers. Kings Cove will be our next map. Yeah, do you think? So you think? Who do you think has this here in game number 3? After seeing 2 games where you know, I think GunGFu opens up with a crazy style, and first time Elazer's ready for it. Second time he's not.
GunGFu's gonna need a couple minutes. By the way, we've just been informed. You're asking me to vote for Elazer, but I feel like he's getting too many votes.
I'm just asking who you want to vote for. I'm not saying to vote for anybody.
I'm gonna vote for GunGFuBanDa.
Ooh, that's very bold.
Yeah.
I like it. You know, I think as far as being a Protoss fan, obviously, my heart wants GunGFu to win, but I feel like Elazer, so long as he scouts, is going to be in a good spot in this game, right? Because that's really been kind of the name of the things that have been put him in a disadvantaged position. You know, not seeing what's coming, not scouting the double Stargate Phoenix. Granted, it didn't even matter in the first game. And then just not being able to see how weird of a transition that was from GunGFu.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so I think just with a little bit better awareness from Elazer in terms of what GunGFu is up to, I think he's in a great spot.
That was bananas. That's why they call him GunGFuBanDa. A lot of people call him GunGFuBanDa. Now I know why.
Because he is keeping things wacky, and he sure as heck ain't no holla back girl, cats.
Absolutely not. So, yeah, we're actually loaded. I like that GunGFu took a minute there to recompose himself.
Absolutely. Yeah, very good sign of maturity, you know, taking a second to compose himself here as Kings Cove here for map number 3. It's going to be a good one, guys. As we start off up in the top left-hand side in the red, our Zerg player looking to close it out and bring back the momentum. He's Elazer.
And in the blue, and on the bottom right-hand side of the map, it is GunGFuBanDa, representing Germany.
Looking to not make an early split from this group.
Okay.
And it's going to be a very standard start here for both these guys. You'll love to see it. Get to not have anybody dropping out in the first 2 minutes of the game. Always fun.
Yeah, and Elazer actually looking for the probe for some reason, but he's going to drop the 16 hatchery just to try to make sure that he can drop that hatchery. And this time around, GunGFuBanDa playing the mind game somewhat and not going for the hatch block.
Yeah, it goes for the later gateway scout. And I mean, realistically, oh, Forge coming down with this as well.
Ooh.
We're going to see a cannon contain. I love it.
Yeah, without a doubt, we're going to have to see cannons. Otherwise, this is just a wasted investment. The Forge is so very expensive, right? Well, right now, at this stage of the game.
GunGFu before, all right?
Yeah, that is true. He might just, switch into double robo from the Forge. And he's actually not trying to do anything. Elazer has his overlord positioned at the natural base. So this is kind of strange.
Yeah, it's weird.
He canceled it.
Okay.
Did he cancel it? No.
No. Okay,
no,
so it finished his... Okay, he's trying to get in position now.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, and with that Cyber Core almost done as well, it's going to mean he'll be able to add on shield batteries that much sooner, which of course makes it so much harder to deal with.
Yeah, I think he's just looking for the deny onto this base. I would be kind of surprised. I guess he could add a robo here, but the gateway being on the other side of the map is a little bit sketchy. And I do like how this is playing out because it's such a late cannon rush now. That Elazer has already basically committed the hatchery by the time it happens. And GunGFuBanDa being very efficient with his, not just with his pylon placement, but also when he cancels that pylon. It offers the drones like surface area, but not enough surface area that it threatens his cannons.
Oh, okay, so down goes the probe. That's going to be no more extra cannons, no more extra shield batteries for the time being. Those first two cannons now done with that robo facility on the way. But the second cannon's not even in range of this hatchery. Yeah,
that's a crucial mistake, actually. And I would have thought it was in range of the hatchery. It is a hex off. So that is going to be difficult because... Oh, and very nice job by Elazer, utilizing the high ground and the lack of vision by GunGFuBanDa. Yeah, and this is going to be expensive to break. But if I was Elazer, I would even cancel those spines at this point.
Yeah, and I think if you're GunGFu here, I think you cancel this robo too, right?
Yeah,
how are you going to defend this?
I mean, there's two spines coming up, right? Like that robo's going to go down. Maybe get an Immortal out, and then what?
And yeah, and then your Immortal gets surrounded by a bunch of...
Oh, look at this.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, it absolutely can take this fight. I mean, it's just going to be a lot of transfuses. Will eventually kill it. Didn't necessarily need to, but hey, gets it done. And now that Immortal's going to pop out, never mind, gets canceled.
Yeah, and there's, I suppose, yeah, that's pretty good because there's no threat of the even if the Immortal pops out, it doesn't matter too much. What I was thinking is you keep the spines, because if your opponent's deciding to continue with the robo and you just kill it with the spines, then you know that's a wasted investment. It's a win-win. But Elazer identifying that he could take more than that, right? Was offered an arm or a hand and took the arm. So now GunGFuBanDa in a very difficult position with a very late Nexus, an early +1, so we might be seeing some sort of timing here, but he is in dire straits.
Absolutely. You know, supply blocks right now as well due to losing so many pylons on the other side, and yeah, it's going to be a really, really uphill battle for GunGFu to be able to come back from this.
And that's why I voted Elazer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Elazer, oh man, getting all the way into the mineral line here as well. Yeah, this is beautiful for Elazer. I mean, GunGFu really is going to have to make something happen here, and I don't know... I
would not be surprised if he just GG's, honestly. Like, this is the type of game that's, you know, we're going to try our best here. But, man, it's going to be... If it's a comeback, it's going to be a comeback.
Yeah, this is Hail Mary from the end of the field here. This is 1 yard line. It's tough straights as the layers now getting added on for Elazer. Doesn't really have many tools at the moment to end this game, but doesn't have to, right? Sitting on a 13-worker lead, sitting on his third hatchery, now finished up. I mean, just beautiful positioning here as the robo facility is only just now starting to get remade for GunGFu, and even that isn't really going to allow him much of an opportunity to apply some pressure back.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a cannon invested, there's a forge invested. Like, taking away everything, all the investment that was the failed cannon rush that the GunGFuBanDa went for. Even just back at home, there's a defensive investment in that cannon, a forge that is upgrading, and therefore it's not going to be useful until that's done. So Elazer identifies all this, says, I'm just going to make as many drones as I want, because what can you have, right?
Exactly.
That's 300 minerals sitting on the forge and cannon, another 200 resources on the upgrade that's not going to kick in. Lag, and RIP is lagging. Wow. Man. That is a
unfortunate choice of a name for somebody lagging out.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, you know, I'm really liking Elazer's position here, and yeah, it's a great position for him. as we are just going to need a second here, guys, to get that resolved, rip our player out of there. As yeah, you know, is there?
I don't know. I don't think so. No. I'm just gonna say
yeah,
no. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
if Elazer unplugs his keyboard and isn't able to pause, and then Cat chooses mouse cable, and then GunGFu would still be in a tough spot.
Absolutely. I do like what he's doing. He's taking a very fast third base here, so he's kind of taking whatever risk he can take.
Right.
If Elazer doesn't punish it, then, you know, like
exactly, and that's always a caveat with these games that are so you know, where one player is so far ahead right now, where Elazer is if Elazer sits back on continuing to get up his economy or getting himself to where he wants to be and gives GunGFu too big of a window, there is in theory that chance for him to come back, to be able to make some weird timing work. I mean, we saw Uthermal be able to come back with just using those few battle cruisers. I mean, something similar to that is absolutely possible, but it is so hard to do, especially against
because the window is just not there anymore. Like, Elazer's done with his economy. Now he's making units. He's already where he wants to be. He's at 3 base saturation essentially, and he says, okay, if you're, you know, he's gonna scout the third. There's a couple of links moving out, and upon seeing the third, I imagine he's just gonna make more units, push out, and win.
Yeah, I completely agree, and Hydra's on the way behind this as well. He's going to have all the tech that he wants. Hallucinated Warp Prism is cute, you know, trying to force a response, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. Not enough people hallucinate things different than a Phoenix, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely an underused ability in that way. As Twilight Council will be finishing up here pretty soon, you know.
Dark Shrine, I imagine. You have to throw all the Hail Marys here.
Yeah, I think you have to go for Dark Shrine here. Yeah, if he doesn't, then he is a braver man than I. Charge on the way.
Yeah, and Elazer, I'm not so sure I like Elazer's choice here, just because he's so very far ahead, and he's taking every which way, which is kind of the safe, like, Raynor type approach that we saw from the Italian Wonder earlier. But yeah, I mean, this is offering a lot of breathing room for GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, it really is. These Adepts doing actually a very good job of drawing the pressure away. Going to see the Lurker Den as well. So, I mean, as good as things could be going right now for GunGFu, I mean, they are going. You know, 58 works to 66 now. He's slowly but surely whittling away at that lead. In that regard, I mean, granted, Elazer's had so much more income for so much longer.
Yeah, but he's just not capitalizing on his on his lead. Like, he's more or less doing the things that would allow, right? Like investing so much into so many different techs and spreading himself thin. And I mean, I imagine we're gonna see the Lurkers come into play here. But GunGFu is making a second Robo and is already producing Immortals off of the first one. That's just about the best thing that you could have against Lurkers.
Yeah, I'm worried for GunGFu investing so much into these buildings right now, right? I mean, getting the Templar Archives definitely necessary. The second Robo, I mean, is he going to be able to afford that and have enough gateway units to eat the shots from these Lurkers? Yeah,
the thing is, he just doesn't have very many gateways at the moment, so he's just really leaning heavily on that tech. This is kind of the equivalent of a Terran mech army, where you have no option to replace your army once it's dead, but your army will pack a heavy punch.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see here how it's going to play out, as Elazer is still just waiting here, right? You know, it's just adding on a couple more Lurkers before finally starting to move through the center of the map. 88 to 45, that supply count at the moment, as GunGFu is finally starting to add on some more of those gateways, but it might be too little too late.
We'll see. I mean, he has a good choke to defend. There's force shields available. This is a good defensive map. For Elazer, he's gonna be juggling for position and trying to get those Lurkers into an annoying position. A lot of Overlords being moved across the map as well, so we might see multiple drops whilst hitting the third or something like that.
Yeah, main army moving forward here. These Adepts doing quite a bit as well. 6 Workers going down. 7 going down, and now creep spread is down. The Lurkers are moving up, and the siege begins. Wall is down. Force field trying to cut that off. Going to allow a few to wiggle into it still.
Need another force field there.
Yep, okay, has the energy for it. There we go.
I mean, that's wasted units for Elazer. He doesn't really get much out of those.
Yeah,
thus far.
Now finally breaking through those rocks, breaking up. Great storm.
I mean, and Elazer's not really moving with the Lurkers. I mean, I would have loved to see Elazer maybe drop some of those lurkers onto different bases. Like he has the overlords, he has the tech for it, he has the overlord speed even.
Or even drop them right on top of the army, right? I mean, just like he has so much here. Now it's finally starting to take down some of those more expensive units in the back. Those immortals finally going down. GunGFu, in the meantime, has earned himself a 2-worker lead throughout all of this.
Wow.
And
if he holds, if
he
can
hold, his upgrades are even right now. +2 against +2. Storms. Yeah, buying himself some spacing. Elazer having a really hard time. Needs to mix up his angles here. I mean,
but
one run by the
rest of the army. I feel like GunGFu had a second there where he was thinking, oh, maybe I can pounce on these. And it's such a difficult decision to make. But, you know, if he saw the opening, I think he might have been able to kill a lot of those lurkers before the rest of the army showed up. Elazer is really being a little bit careless with his buffer, though.
Yeah, like I wonder if he feels he's way farther ahead than he actually is. I mean, because he has been ahead this entire game, but now with that economy becoming closer and closer and the army kind of stalling out here for Elazer, this is, I mean, this is exactly what you want as GunGFu in this situation. The lurkers now moving forward into that storm range. How many more storms does he have available, though? Has to be running low on energy here in those High Templar.
He's out, actually. Good call. There is a lot of immortals, though. Those are going to help against the lurkers. And again, Elazer has been careless with his buffer, right? Like if he gets enough Hydra Ling right now where there's no storm anymore, then he can close this off. But without, GunGFu still stands a small chance at breaking through here, especially with this many immortals. And look, he's preparing for a flank. He's going to go for it soon.
Yep. Something important to note here, that one observer you see on your screen is the only detection GunGFu has at the moment, other than those cannons.
Here comes GunGFu.
Okay, Zealots on the side. The Lurkers getting some great shots off on the start.
No buffer for the Lurkers, though.
No buffer at all.
They're all going to die so fast to these immortals.
Oh, no! The Observer gets sniped, and there it is.
That was the opening for GunGFu. Very well capitalized by Elazer, identifying that there's only one single Observer. And will save his lurkers. That would have been huge.
That would have been absolutely massive. If you're Elazer here, are you really staying?
There's the next observer. I don't think he should.
Yeah, I feel like he should just back off and regroup here. This is such a risky spot to try and stay and hold, and now GunGFu is looking to secure a 4th base, you know, starting to get confident.
But the reinforcements have now arrived, so now the position is fine to hold again by Elazer. But the reinforcements are actually pulling back for those Zealots. Burrows the lurkers, and this is turning into a game now.
Yeah, GunGFu really clawing his way back into this. Zealots drawing some pressure away.
So good with that.
Doing such a great job, yeah. And Elazer, you know, I'm really curious if Elazer is just going to try and triple down here and just finally break him. I mean, now we see money getting invested in that Nexus, so maybe there's a window here if he can catch this army rotating.
I don't think he's too interested in that. He just started a new upgrade and Infestation Pit. I think that's indicative of what his thought is, which is, let's go a little bit later. This didn't work.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And now these Zealots, once again, going to get a few worker kills. Ooh, even able to make it to the Warp Prism. That's very nice.
Very, very nice. Well done by GunGFuBanDa. The creep spread's not particularly great for Elazer either, given the amount of map control that he's had throughout, right? This is the first time that we see GunGFuBanDa actually pushing out, and I'm not sure that he should be, but he does get some creep for free.
Yeah, you know, pressuring back the creep, definitely good. But yeah, like you said, opens him, not sure how I feel about it, right? It opens him up to lose this powerful and hard to replace army. I mean, at this point, he's invested so much gas into it. Big Zergling run by, but empty mineral line for now. So nothing to do there.
Yeah, and still 10 versus production. I mean, again, GunGFuBanDa's army has been so fickle in the way that you know, if you killed it once, that was game. But it held, and now he has a very strong core to add on to. Now he's adding extra gateways. Now he's up to a decent amount of gateways. And look at this army. I mean, that's a lot of Archons. There's a bunch of Immortals and a lot of Storm. It's going to be difficult for just about any army composition short of Broodlords to take now.
Yeah, going to be so challenging with that Hive only just now finishing up here in a few. We have a Fleet Beacon already on the way for GunGFu before that Greater Spire, or even a regular Spire, gets started up here. It's going to be so significantly delayed for Elazer as the Warp Prism continues to draw the units back, and the main force of GunGFu now moving through the center of the map, looking to clear out some more of this creep.
And you hate to see it. Your Lure finishes, or your Hive finishes, but you don't really want to, or aren't really looking to add any upgrades. Now he finally adds the Lurker adaptive talents, are they? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. And Pathogen Glance as well getting added on, but no Infestors on the map. yet, so it's going to still be a while before any of those Feng Wolves can potentially help out with this fight as Storm's blanketing the army here. It's such a tough fight for Elazer to take, as Zealots on the left-hand side trading out very well against those Zerglings.
And this is great by GunGFu. I mean, he's not spending all of his Storm, making himself vulnerable to anything, and this is brilliant. Oh my god, if he gets the Lurker upgrade, that would be fantastic for him. That's the only reason Elazer has had a hybrid now. And look at this!
Oh my goodness! Ooh. Shredding through the army there. 100 army split at 66 as GunGFu is marching forward.
He's doing it.
Oh my goodness, the Observer stays alive, and now GunGFu is on top of this hatchery. The Hydras are on the run, and Elazer is in full rout right now. GG!
Oh my god. Well, as I predicted from the start, GunGFuBanDa takes a very easy win.
Wow. Yeah. The Prophet, man, you knew what was happening. You knew. No, never a second of doubt. I could tell.
No, I mean, I just looked at it. GunGFu when kind of rush failed, and then like he was trapped in his base forever. I was like, 90% win rate, I think, from here on. Well, that was crazy, and Elazer has to be hitting himself in the head because I mean we were talking about the things that maybe he could have done differently, and I feel like maybe he got a little bit too comfortable.
Yeah, right, definitely. Getting himself had just too long form of an idea of what he wanted to do in that game, right? And then with how aggressively risky we saw GunGFu play with his economy, take that super fast third, get that, and having the fast +1 as well as a consequence of having that later warp gate research and the later everything really allowed him to stay equal, and I think that being equal on upgrades in that hold is the only reason I think he's able to survive there, combined with obviously maybe questionable army movement choices, but
yeah, I mean,
yeah, really well done there by
even the push onto the natural base of GunGFuBanDa. Elazer chose the worst choke in the map, right, to go up against Storm.
Didn't apply any pressure on the left-hand side either. Like that third base, I'm not sure what was there, but not a lot and we saw Zerglings just get shredded by the main army on that front side. Would have loved to see, if that opens up, you're able to draw pressure over that third base. Might be a different game, but instead, GunGFu takes that series 2-1.
Crazy.
Very well done. Yeah, so take a look at our next matches coming up, guys. Raynor versus Euthermal, that winner's match. Going to decide who faces off against GunGFu down at the bottom side. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back in just a few.